Hey guys, Savannah here with Savvy Shoots Photography. I am a portrait wedding photographer based in Detroit, Michigan. I am also a past high school photography teacher, and today I am teaching about the exposure triangle. Now, I've talked about this a little bit in my other videos. I have referenced it. This is the main thing that you have to learn when you are starting photography and want to have full control over your camera. So when I was a photography teacher, this was something that we spent weeks learning. It does take a while to master. And today I'm going to explain the 3 different parts of the exposure triangle. And then we are going to go into in-depth and different videos for each part of the exposure triangle. The first thing that you need to know is that exposure, so the amount of light that's coming into your camera, is controlled by 3 main factors: your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. Now, your ISO is basically the sensitivity of your camera that's going to create the brighter or darker image. We'll talk about that in another video. Your shutter speed is how fast your shutter is opening and shutting, which we'll cover in another video. And then aperture is going to be the first setting that we are going to cover, which is the opening and closing within a lens that really controls how much light is coming through. Now, each of these settings interacts with one another in some way. So this is why we call this the exposure triangle, because it is this main triangle that's going to affect all of your images. When you are shooting in auto mode in your camera is automatically adjusting these different modes. If you're shooting in an aperture priority mode, you're controlling the aperture and your camera is controlling everything else for you to get that balance. In every single situation, this exposure triangle, your settings are going to be different. So if you're inside of a studio, those settings are going to be very different than if you are outside on a sunny day. So you need to learn the different settings and how to change them quickly in order to have consistency and properly exposed photos that are not blurry or grainy. So follow along. We're going to start with aperture first, and then we'll walk through each of these settings together.